A dollar saved in 1971 purchases roughly 14 cents of goods today. That's not a metaphor for decline. It's the measured result of a specific institutional decision made on August 15, 1971, when Richard Nixon severed the last link between the dollar and gold. The mechanism that followed is not complicated. It just isn't talked about honestly. M2 money supply stood at approximately $685 billion in 1971. By 2024, it had crossed $21 trillion, a 30-fold expansion in 5 decades. That is not economic growth. Growth produces more goods and services. Money creation produces more claims on existing goods, and whoever receives the new money first gets to spend it before prices adjust. That asymmetry has a name. Richard Cantillon described it in the 1730s. Newly created money enters the economy at specific points, enriching those nearest the source before inflation diffuses outward and erodes the purchasing power of everyone else. In 1971, the source became permanent and institutional, the Federal Reserve. Real wages for American production and non-supervisory workers peaked in 1973 and did not recover their inflation-adjusted value for nearly 4 decades. The economy kept growing in nominal terms. Workers kept falling behind in real ones. The numbers moved in opposite directions, and the gap between them is the transfer. Asset prices tell the other half. The S&P 500 returned roughly 10% annually over the same period, but median household net worth barely moved in inflation-adjusted terms. The gains concentrated at the top of the asset distribution, among those who owned stocks, real estate, and capital. Those who held wages and savings absorbed the dilution. This is not a left-coded argument about inequality. It is a structural observation about how monetary expansion distributes its effects. The Cantillon mechanism doesn't care about politics. It follows money flows, and in a fiat system, money flows from the central bank outward, which means from the institution to the connected, and from the connected to everyone else, in sequence. The standard defense is that central banks exist to stabilize the system, to prevent deflation, manage employment, smooth the business cycle. What this argument cannot account for is the 1971 baseline. Every stabilization tool requires the ability to create money without limit. Every crisis response, 2008, 2020, expands the supply. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet was $900 billion in 2008. It was $8.9 trillion by 2022. Each expansion is a transfer. Each transfer is permanent. Fiat currency is a technology of extraction, masquerading as a neutral medium. The extraction is not accidental. It is the operating mechanism. Every dollar printed is a hidden tax, levied on every person who holds dollars, at a rate they never voted for, administered by an institution they cannot audit, spent in ways they were never asked to approve. Bitcoin's supply is fixed at 21 million, not by policy, not by committee, by protocol, a mathematical constraint enforced by a decentralized network that no government, central bank, or institutional actor can override. The last Bitcoin will be mined around the year 2014, and no emergency, no crisis, no war will change that number. That is not a feature. It is the first hard constraint on money creation in the history of modern finance, and it changes the structure of every economic incentive downstream from it. If this episode made you think differently, subscribe. New episodes every week. And if you want to go deeper, there's more waiting for you. This is not a channel about price. It's a channel about civilization.